Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we'll talk to an actress and producer who's passionate about bringing independent films to Texas. Her journey is just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. Well, obviously, COVID has all of us worried about the film industry because so many films had to go on hiatus or on pause because of COVID. And so there's a supply chain issue in Hollywood right now. That's why some of your favorite TV series or movies haven't been released yet. But thanks to Top Gun, people are going back to the box office, and I think Hollywood's making a big rebound. And not all projects are made in Hollywood. Somebody who knows a little something about that, Amber McNutt. She's an actress and she is a producer. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm so excited to talk to you. We met at a gathering the other week, and when you told me what you do, I said, oh my goodness, you got to come on my TV show to talk about your journey. So how does this all begin for you? When did you always want to be an actress or involved in film?
So when I was a little girl, I was asked to be on a public service announcement for Fox News, and I just got to do little news pieces like a reporter. I was you. And anyway, it was so fun, and I loved it. And then from there, I did some modeling off and on. And then as I got older, I became a CPA, which has actually helped me in the movie business, believe it or not. And I taught some image classes to young girls. I taught them how to interview, how to take better photos. And some of these girls were on scholarship at this place. And it was so rewarding to watch these girls who may come in with, pink or purple hair is kind of in style right now, but it wasn't really at the time. Anyway, and they just to teach them to sit up straight and look at somebody to help them get a job later on in life was very rewarding. And I would see these girls later, a year or two later, and they would notice me in the grocery store or whatnot, and they would thank me, and it was so fun. So I did that, and that led to being offered a couple movie roles. So what actually led to these 2 movies that I've been executive producer for is I was asked to fill in a spot. They needed an actress for The Mayor's Wife. We film lots of movies in Corsicana, believe it or not. Corsicana, Texas is a small town, and we can set up pretty much any background. We've made it be Old England for a Jack the Ripper show.
Wow.
We've done all sorts of things, but I was asked to be a mayor's wife, which I loved. I loved everyone on that set. I had so much fun with the producers, and then from there, I met my partner who wrote the 2 movies that I've produced, and we were in the same scene together. And so it led to these movies.
Well, I want to put up on the screen your IMDb because you haven't been doing this a long time, and you've got a lot of titles that you've been associated with. One of them that I want to call attention to is one called Night Night, because that was your first project that you were the producer. So let's go ahead and roll that trailer now.
Do you remember anything prior to the accident? Or maybe even the accident?
What was ideally a routine traffic accident is now a murder investigation.
Ms. Davis, I'm Detective Dan Putman, and we're with the Crimes Against Persons Division.
It feels so weird to be outside again.
It's been 5 months.
You okay? Everything just turned upside down for a second. Ever since I got out of the hospital, really weird things have been happening. I don't know if somebody's trying to mess with me, hurt me, or if it's just all in my head.
That's a pretty big place to be staying alone.
I got an email from a travel company I've never heard of before. Places to visit before you die. This family was in every single spot. It was a husband, a wife, and one of the kids was wearing yellow shoes and the other had a stuffed monkey.
Have you seen or read anything about your accident? Something strange caught my eye, so I pulled the AI folder.
That's creepy.
Do any of these look familiar?
Oh my God. I don't know if I'm freaking out or I'm hallucinating because of these meds.
April, wake up! Do you have to be careful mixing wine and pills like that?
I haven't slept in 2 days. And I'm just feeling very vulnerable and confused right now. Because what if there's a logical explanation for all of this? Get out of your house, something's wrong.
You're not making any sense, all right? You're starting to freak me out.
Amber, that was brilliant. And you just told me that your kids were in the film. How cool is that?
They were amazing. They were such troopers. There's a scene in particular in a car, and I was so late at night. They'd been there for hours and hours, and I was just, But it was interesting to be both a producer and have my children on set. So.
And I love the idea that you can shoot these films, these indie films, in Texas and in Corsicana, where you guys have a family business.
Yes. The town of Corsicana has been so amazing. They're very welcoming to movie sets because I'm not the only one who's made movies there. We've had numerous feature films made. Oh goodness, Redstone was made recently with Neil McDonough.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then lots of big name stars have been in Corsicana. So it's very fun for the town. You know, you go out to eat and there's somebody famous. And so they love it. And
one of the things that I love is that you haven't gone Hollywood. I mean, you're not the person with the star sunglasses, and you've walked the red carpet. And so we've got some video from the night premiere in Hollywood. And what did that feel like to have that kind of step and repeat and have all that attention?
Well, I mean, it's funny to watch different people react because I even had some friends who we allowed to go down the red carpet, and it's funny because some people get really excited, some get sort of nervous. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to walk on the red carpet. I'm going to get my picture taken. What's this going to be on?" And I just love it. I love interacting with everyone, and I have fun with the camera, and so I basically just had a lot of fun.
But you're also a mom, and you just told me before we went on that you're doing homeschooling. You've got a full plate. You got a lot going on. But films, and specifically doing indie films in Texas, is a big passion for you.
Yes. We filmed Night, and it was just such a lovely experience. I worked with several of the same people on this next movie that's my newest project. I worked with many people again. Once again, the town was just so wonderful. So we named our movie Corsicana, and that's really to honor my husband's background. He's from there. Like I said, the people have been so welcoming. We used, some of my contacts, the land,
Sure.
the Goins, and the people could not possibly be more helpful and nice. And, we broke something and we're just, and of course we fixed it. But they're just so lovely to us. So we wanted to tell this heritage of Corsicana and the oil boom, because I don't know how many people know this, but oil was first discovered west of the Mississippi in Corsicana, Texas. So it's a small town an hour south of Dallas. And that's where also my husband grew up and has a 100-year-old company.
Well, let's give a shout out to Bob, because
Okay.
he's pretty famous. In fact, I interviewed your husband in the late 90s for a piece for Fox 4. So all of you have heard of the Collins Street Bakery. You pass it every day on 45. You have many locations, but you're most famous for fruitcake.
Right.
So tell that story.
My husband is third generation at the bakery as president, and then we've got fourth generation. Our daughter and our nephews have worked there, and so also it's just, it's wonderful to be part of something that's so long-standing and such a tradition, and fruitcake is such a lovely gift to give someone at Christmas time, especially. That's the busy season. We call it fruitcake season. Yes. And everybody I run into in town either has worked for the bakery or their relatives have worked for the bakery, and it's just so fun to be such a big part of such a nice, loving family.
I would argue that the McNutt family really put Corsicana on the map. I mean, as a little boy who would go to visit Grandma in Innis, she loved the Corsicana bakery and the fruitcake. And if you think you don't like fruitcake, you just haven't had Collins Street, because it's delicious.
That's right.
Lots of great pecans, and they have that iconic tin that they've never changed. I don't think in 100 years have they changed the tin.
There's a couple different versions of it, but there's that one iconic one. And I actually played with one of those tins when I was a little girl, and we kept buttons in it.
Yes.
So I would play with the buttons.
It's a great tin. It's a showpiece. Anyway, you and your family are so amazing, and thank you for everything that you've brought to the great state of Texas. I'll leave you with some final words. What would you like to leave the audience with?
Well, so if y'all go watch out and go watch Night Night on Amazon, and then the next movie coming out is Corsicana. And it's a Western, so it's completely different. The first is a psychological thriller with younger Hollywood Disney actress as the lead, and then the second is a Western with older Hollywood and Isaiah Washington.
And she showed me a little clip of it, and we're not allowed to show that to you yet, but we've got some still pictures. But honestly, you can compare it to any big budget film in Hollywood. I mean, the photography was just brilliant. So.
It sure is.
Amber, thank you for coming on the show. We're going to end with your Instagram handle, which is Mrs._Amber7. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.